So you may have heard that most houseplants need bright, indirect light. But what does that actually mean? How much light is enough light? What if your plant starts to die? Do you have low light? Or maybe your plant is getting too much light? What if you don't know what type of light your plant needs? We're going to answer all those questions today. So stick around. I am here to help you create a thriving home and life with indoor plants. And this video is brought to you by the makers of our app, available on iOS and Android. Let's get into it. You probably already know that plants need light to survive. But if you've ever wondered how much light is enough, then you'll want to keep watching because we're going to break down the science of light and how it relates to your houseplants. You'll learn how to identify your light levels, what type of light your plants need, and which plants tolerate low light the best. Why do plants need light? In short, plants use light for photosynthesis, which is how they make their food. If you want a more detailed explanation, you can check out our video on the science of photosynthesis. Now let's talk about the different types of light. Just for fun, we gave each of these light types their own fun names. But you'll often hear them called something else, such as direct light being called full sun and low light being called shade. Bright direct light comes from a small area like the sun shining through a window. This is the highest light level. Plants that grow outside on the south side of a building in hot climates get bright direct light. Indoors, think south-facing windows. Indoors, bright direct light is really intense, so it's best for plants that are used to hot climates and intense light like succulents and cacti. Most plants won't tolerate bright direct light for very long without burning their leaves. You'll see these plants develop brown spots or edges on their leaves, kind of like getting a sunburn. Cacti and succulents have special adaptations to prevent them from burning in bright direct light. However, other plants will quickly burn and die if left in bright direct light for too long. Bright indirect light comes from a larger area, like the light under a tree canopy. Plants growing outside on the west or east side of a building in hot climates get bright indirect light. Indoors, think of north-facing windows, or a window that has at least one wall in between, so the light is coming through but it's not as intense. Bright indirect light is still pretty intense, so it's best for plants that are used to bright light outdoors, like a lot of tropical plants. Monstera and fiddle-leaf figs are examples of plants that like bright indirect light. Low light comes from a big open area like the forest floor. Think about what it would be like if you were standing under a large tree. You wouldn't be able to see the sun. That's low light. In terms of direction, this would be the north side of a building in a hot climate. Indoors, think of a room with no windows or a window that gets very little direct sunlight. Low light is really tricky for plants because there aren't that many plants that can tolerate it for long periods of time without growing poorly or burning. Some plants that tolerate low light the best are the snake plant, pothos, and the zizid plant. Artificial light is light from an overhead fixture like your ceiling light or a desk lamp. Artificial light is usually not intense enough to kill most plants, but it also doesn't contain enough of the right wavelengths for most plants to photosynthesize efficiently. Some plants like the snake plant, pothos, and zizid plant can tolerate lower light levels and artificial light better than others, but almost all plants will grow faster and healthier if they get some natural light. Okay, now that we know the different types of light, let's talk about how to identify your light levels. There's no easy way to measure light intensity, but there are some helpful tricks you can try. Check the shadow size. In bright direct light, the shadow of an object is small and intense. In bright indirect light, the shadow is a little larger and softer. In low light, the shadow is much larger and soft. Look out the window. What direction does the light come from? Is the light unobstructed or blocked by trees or buildings? Does the light change during the day or stay mostly the same? In bright direct light, you'll notice the sunshine pretty quickly. It's not filtered or diffused. In bright indirect light, you'll notice the light coming through a window as a nice bright spot. In low light, you won't notice any bright spots. Try putting a white sheet of paper on the floor. Where are the light and dark areas? How long does it take for the light to reach the floor? In bright direct light, you'll see a small bright spot immediately. In bright indirect light, you'll see a larger brighter spot immediately. In low light, you'll see a larger darker spot, and it may take a while for the light to reach the floor. Use a light meter. There are inexpensive light meters available online. They're easy to use and will give you an exact reading of your light level. Download a light meter app. There are free light meter apps available for iOS and Android. These work surprisingly well and are really convenient. Let's look at some plant examples. The following plants need bright direct light. Succulents and cacti, which I mentioned earlier, do well in bright direct light. The African violet enjoys bright direct light and will produce lots of flowers if given bright direct light. The citrus tree grows best with bright direct light, and it produces the best flavor in its fruit if given bright direct light. The same goes for the tomato. The best way to grow tomatoes is in bright direct light. The following plants need bright indirect light. Monstera, fiddle-leaf fig, rubber tree, prayer plant, croton, calathea, Chinese evergreen, bird's nest fern, peace lily, and dracaena. The following plants tolerate low light, but will grow the best in bright indirect light. Snake plant, pothos, ZZ plant, cast iron plant, lucky bamboo, spider plant, asparagus fern, table palm, wingspan, Chinese money tree, and the umbrella tree. Just remember, all plants are different. So even though two plants may be in the same category, it doesn't mean that they'll react to light the same way. So pay attention to your plants and adjust accordingly. Here are some helpful tips to keep in mind. Rotate your plants. Rotating your plants ensures that all sides of the plant get light. This helps the plant grow strong and healthy and prevents the plant from bending towards the light source. Use grow lights. Grow lights are great for supplementing natural light. Supplemental light is great if you have a plant that needs a lot of light or if you live in a place with low light levels. Check out our video on the best grow lights for houseplants. Burnt leaves. If the leaves on your plant are burnt, it's a good idea to move your plant to a lower light level. Depending on how intense the light is where you moved your plant, you may need to slowly transition your plant over several days. This is especially important for plants sensitive to high light levels, like the fiddle leaf fig. Low light. If your plant is in low light and you suspect it isn't getting enough light, try moving it to a higher light level. Even a little extra light can make a huge difference. Watch your plants carefully. If you move your plant to a higher light level, watch the leaves closely for signs of burning. Adjust accordingly. Season. During the winter, the light levels change, so you may need to move your plant to a different location. In general, plants need less light in the winter, but some plants like the African violet actually need more light in the winter. If you've made it this far, chances are you love houseplants. So do us a favor and hit that like button. Also, let us know what your favorite houseplant is in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of our videos. Thank you so much for watching and supporting our channel.